Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a preliminary 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit near Northern California early Tuesday, killing at least 2. And in Washington, the House Ways and Means Committee voted to make public 6 years of former President Donald Trump's tax returns. And happening now, leaders in Washington preparing for a possible visit from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He is expected as early as today.
Degrees and colder temperatures than this are on the way, very much colder than 45. And as a matter of fact, coming up for your Friday, we won't even get anywhere near 45. We'll be way under that. And we'll talk about that in the cold air coming up.
Basketball season is in full swing, and we catch up with the girls' first district game in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain. Today is the 21st day of December 2022, and it is also National Maine Day. Let's go ahead and turn to First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining. Trey, I hear you've been to Maine.
Yes, very pretty state. Way up there north, of course, in northern New England. Very mountainy, and the coastline is very nice and rocky. And
are the lobsters everything there?
Lobsters, everything. There you go. Yes. Go if you got the chance. I wouldn't go now, it's simply too cold. But
I won't go because Stephen King sets most of his books there.
He does. Don't think about that.
I'm a scaredy cat, Trey.
So don't be scared, of course. I guess Carolina needs to stay in Victoria. All right, temperatures in the 40s this morning, 50s or so by the afternoon time, near 60 degrees. And then coming up for your early morning on your Thursday, of course, in the cool temperature range, maybe getting near 70 degrees about noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow before the front arrives. Then it pushes on through, and you'll hear it when it comes through. The winds will turn around very rapidly to the north. It'll be roaring on in, temperature is falling. And look at this, by the time we get to 1 o'clock in the 20s, mid to low 20s coming up for the 7 a.m. hour. So definitely cold tomorrow morning, not on Friday morning, I should say, not tomorrow morning. Yes, it'll be cold, but nowhere near freezing. And probably not getting out of the 30s all day, probably not getting above freezing coming up for your day on your Friday around here. Arctic front arrives Thursday afternoon, be prepared for that. And followed by that, soon hard freeze for Friday morning, Saturday, and Sunday morning, in the mornings, of course. And teens to mid-20s. But more than likely, snow and ice, very unlikely, not happening this time, so don't worry about that. Hard freeze watching in anticipation of the hard freeze coming up for your Friday morning. Teens, low 20s area wide. And in addition to that, with the winds coming up from the north, 30 to 40 miles per hour at times behind the front, very gusty, very windy, and falling temperatures, near zero wind chills, single digits to near zero throughout much of the area. That's a dangerous wind chill, my friends, so please be careful of that. Of course, on the other end, during the summer, we have the heat index, which is very dangerous, very high heat indices. And on the other end is the wind chills, also very cold, also dangerous, potentially life-threatening. You don't have any shelter. More details on the weather forecast a little bit later on this half hour. Carolina?
Parts of Northern California are reeling from a deadly earthquake. The 6.4 earthquake killed at least 2 people and left behind widespread damage in Humboldt County near the quake's epicenter. More than 70,000 residents were left without power, and officials say it could be more than a day before reliable running water is restored. 6 years of former President Trump's tax documents will soon be available to the public. The House Ways and Means Committee voted along party lines to make their investigation and the underlying documents public. The information could end years of speculation about Trump's business dealings and personal wealth. The final release will still have portions redacted, including sensitive personal information like addresses and social security numbers. Several pounds of narcotics and a loaded gun were seized during a December 6 traffic stop on Highway 59. 2 people were arrested. Authorities say the initial traffic stop was for speeding. During a search of the vehicle, authorities found a 12.4 grams of Xanax, 10 pounds of bulk methamphetamine, and a loaded 9mm handgun and ammunition. 35-year-old Jessica Rivas and 32-year-old William Knapp were arrested and taken to the Victoria County Jail. After the arrest, 10 grams of methamphetamine were also found in Rivas' shoes. Both suspects remain in the Victoria County Jail. The Cuero Police Department asking for the public's help in identifying the man on your screen. He is a suspect in the wallet theft earlier this month. If you have any information or can identify the suspect, call 361-277-3552. Banking giant Wells Fargo has agreed to pay $3.7 billion in fines and restitution. That's all to settle claims that it harmed more than 16 million consumers. That's the latest in a long line of problems for the company.
This morning, another scandal is rocking Wells Fargo. The bank has been ordered to pay $3.7 billion to settle a number of violations, including charging illegal fees and interest on auto loans and mortgages, and incorrectly taking overdraft fees. In a statement, the CEO says the bank identified a series of unacceptable practices that we have been working systematically to change.
It seems that they are not only too big to fail, they're also too big to jail.
It's the latest in a string of massive fines for Wells Fargo. In 2020, the bank paid $3 billion after employees opened millions of phony accounts without the customer's knowledge in order to meet sales goals. As the employees falsified records, investigators say the bank collected millions in fees, reportedly targeting minorities who speak little English, along with college students and seniors.
You had to open 10 accounts every single day.
Since at least 2016, Senator Elizabeth Warren has urged federal regulators to break up Wells Fargo, once calling the bank's former CEO gutless at a congressional hearing.
Have you resigned as CEO or chairman of Wells Fargo?
The board, I serve at
Have you resigned?
No, I've not.
Have you returned one nickel of the money you earned while this scam was going on?
And the board will do...
I will take that as a no then.
Andrew Dimber, ABC News, New York.
Warren applauded the latest fine against Wells Fargo, calling it much needed accountability. There are plans for the president of Ukraine to visit Washington, D.C. as early as today. Multiple sources familiar with the planning say Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to address Congress as part of the visit, with the White House preparing for a visit as well. The planned visit is highly contingent on keeping Zelensky's travel safe and secure, and sources caution plans could still change or be canceled. All right, get your cell phone and scan this QR code. It's our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can get breaking news alerts, vote on our viewer poll, get the latest news, weather, and sports, and learn all about our ongoing contest. You can even watch the newscast, depending if you switch over to your desktop. Submit those news tips and holiday photos. The time is now 6:38 on your Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. This was the scene of a car crash on East Rio Grande in Victoria.
News this morning. I'm Morgan Norwood, and I'll have the very latest from the border here in El Paso, Texas. That's coming up.
Winds throughout the day, pretty much light, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Go through the rest of the day, and of course, as you go through Wednesday night, and on the cool side, downright cold afternoon highs will be about 70 degrees for your day on Thursday. Before the big front arrives, pushing temperatures down into the teens and likely in low 20s coming up for Friday morning with very gusty winds. We'll take a look at those wind chills coming up after the break.
It's our end of the year store-wide sell-off with savings up to 65% off on all in-stock items. We have over $5 million of inventory that must go. So if you're looking for that deal and you're looking for a great bargain, now is the time to buy.
With free HEB curbside pickup, you get more than convenience. You get fresh caught seafood from Texas and around the world, like Gulf shrimp, the best fish in season, and much more. Plus, our freshest, top-quality meat like HEB Prime 1 beef. The ease of curbside with the freshness, quality, and selection of HEB. It's a step up from anywhere else. And one more reason why, at HEB, here, everything's better.
Regal Jewelers in Victoria Mall has a large selection of Pandora, chocolate diamonds by Levian, and bridal sets. Whether it's high-quality diamond bridal sets, pendants, or watches by Belova, Seiko, or Citizen, Regal Jewelers are your locally owned jewelry experts. Regal Jewelry has a great selection of diamonds for any occasion and has no credit-needed financing available.
Come see us with the best selection of jewelry at Regal Jewelers in Victoria Mall.
It's our end of the year store-wide sell-off with savings up to 65% off on all in-stock items. We have over $5 million of inventory that must go. So if you're looking for that deal and you're looking for a great bargain, now is the time to buy.
Good morning. It is exactly 20 minutes away from the 7 a.m. hour. and temperatures in the 30s this morning, near 60 degrees by the afternoon time today, with cold start again for your early morning tomorrow, but not really the big cold air that we're looking for. We'll take a look at that here momentarily. And by 3 o'clock, we should be more than likely in the 70s around here tomorrow afternoon, and the front just to the north of I-10 at that time. It comes roaring through, coming up by the afternoon evening hours. Temperatures drop, the winds increase 30 to 40 miles per hour. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a wind advisory coming up for your day tomorrow. And also freeze warnings, more than likely. And look at this, by 2 a.m. we're in the teens, near 20 degrees in Yoko northward, low 20s in Victoria, even 20s all the way down to the coast. Coming up for the day tomorrow in the early morning hours, definitely a hard freeze. Cloudy skies go throughout the day today, so get ready for the cold air coming our way. Today though, well, as just mentioned, 60 degrees or so. And tonight, lows in the 40s. Tomorrow we'll reach 70 briefly before the front arrives and chills us down to the 20s for lows coming up for your day on your Friday morning. Probably not getting much above freezing for Friday, and cold for your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Finally seeing a warm up Monday and Tuesday.
District kicked off last night for basketball teams across the Crossroads. 25 News Now sports director Gino Perez has the details in sports.
At the Crossroads, the first night of district went off without a hitch, and the Victoria West Lady Warriors look to be 1-0 heading into Christmas. The Lady Warriors and Lady Texans battled back and forth throughout the night, and the Lady Warriors had a chance to tie the game in the fourth quarter, but with a off three-pointer, the Lady Texans would take advantage and go on a run. The keys of the game were missed free throws by the Lady Warriors. Head coach Christina Rankin Williams said that time will come. The first-year head coach said she coached a few of the girls while they were in middle school, and unfortunately they would not get the win, falling 55-44. The Lady Warriors will not play until December 27th. The crosstown rivals of the Lady Warriors, the Victoria East Lady Titans, on the other hand, had a different experience in its first district game. East head coach Yolanda Wimbish North led her team to victory over the Gregory Portland Lady Cats 50-45. Sanaya Randall had 15 points and Avery Valentine followed with 12 points. The Lady Titans will also not play until after Christmas. That's your 25 Sports Now.
We want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Now to the border crisis and Title 42, the pandemic-era order under the Trump administration allowing the U.S. to turn asylum seekers away. The policy was set to expire today, but the Supreme Court put the rollback on hold. The Biden administration now responding to the High Court, asking it to reject a bid by 19 Republican-led states to keep the measure in place.
This morning, mounting uncertainty over Title 42. It comes as the legal challenges over the pandemic-era policy allowing the U.S. to turn away asylum seekers continues to play out. The Supreme Court putting the rollback on hold, and the Biden administration asking the High Court to reject a bid by 19 GOP-led states to keep the policy in place. With the decision on what comes next down to the wire, pressure is building in El Paso, where the mayor says shelters are already packed to the brim.
We want to make sure that we're prepared. We've heard that numbers are really big in Mexico right now in Juarez, and there's probably over 20,000 over there today that are waiting for Title 42 to be lifted.
While it's clear migrants are still coming in and in large numbers, the surge appears to be waning, at least in the El Paso area for now. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the number of migrant crossings has dropped to 1,500 per day. That's down from 2,500 at one point earlier this month. Still, the Texas National Guard beefing up security along the border, hundreds of troops on the ground, wire fencing, Humvees surrounding that area. Title 42 has emerged as a hot-button political debate, with many Republicans and some Democrats arguing that it's critical to border control, while immigration advocates and most Democrats say it undercuts the asylum system. This couple from Venezuela tell me they journeyed through 5 countries and the dangerous Darien Gap in order for a chance at refuge from their violence and poverty-torn homeland, saying, "We want to offer a bright future for our kids." Should the Supreme Court lift Title 42 restrictions, the Biden administration wants it to stay in place until at least after the holidays. It just buys them a little extra time to prepare. And on that front, officials here in El Paso say they've identified 2 vacant schools that could serve as temporary shelters. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, El Paso, Texas.
This was the scene of a car crash on East Rio Grande in Victoria. One driver was hurt and was transported to a local hospital by EMS. That driver expected to make a full recovery. No one else was hurt in the crash. The time is just about 6:46 on your Wednesday morning. Still to come, Twitter owner Elon Musk stepping down as CEO.
Need weather around the clock? When the weather changes in the Crossroads, you need a reliable source. Visit Interactive Radar online for the latest conditions in the Crossroads area. CrossroadsToday.com. Weather at your fingertips.
This is Todd. And this is Sarah.
She's leaving for Paris.
But this isn't your classic holiday rom-com. It's a Nissan Avantage.
Seriously?
Featuring the Nissan Rogue. And more standard power than a CR-V.
This is a love emergency.
Don't let true love or these offers get away.
Get $500 bonus cash on select models.
Gather your loved ones and join us Christmas morning
for some Disney magic.
With show-stopping holiday performances by the biggest stars of the season.
Let's do it!
Woo! Disney Parks' magical Christmas Day Parade. Christmas morning on ABC.
In this morning's GMA First Look, bracing for holiday travel trouble. That holiday storm wreaking havoc on travel plans for the 102 million Americans traveling by road and air, with airlines already canceling and delaying flights even before the storm hits. But there are ways to make sure that Travel Scrooge doesn't win out. First things first, travel waivers that could help you move your existing flight in order to beat the storm. Airlines are letting you make free changes, but you've got to act fast.
It could even mean that fare increases will be covered if you choose a different flight, but that's for specific routes and dates. So you need to make sure you're checking with the airline you're flying to see what their specific policy covers.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more expert tips, plus your coast-to-coast holiday travel forecast. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
We did it, Wilbur! Huzzah! Why do you get the armrest? Why shouldn't I?
If you're on a flight, you need to share the armrest. And if you want to save by bundling home and car insurance, you need Geico.
I didn't get peanuts. Oh, well.
Good morning, it's weather time. Trey Mining here, and temperatures starting in the 30s and 40s or so, and keeping it cool well into the 10 a.m. hour. But temperatures, because of cloud cover, I think temperatures will be only about 60 degrees or so today, and keeping that cold temperature starting off for your day tomorrow in the 40s to 30s as well. And briefly, I think rising near 70 degrees or topping that by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just before the big front rollers on through. You definitely see it, feel it, and hear it as it moves through. Temperatures dropping, and the winds will be about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Look at the temperatures by Friday 2 a.m. already in the low 20s, and even some teens around the area as well. Cloudy skies hanging in all day long. No precipitation, thankfully. Don't have to worry about any of that. No snow or ice or freezing rain, sleet, or any of that nature to keep the roads in a dangerous category when you're driving. So don't have to worry about that. But the cold temperature is enough, I think. 59, 60 degrees, cloudy skies. Overnight lows will be once again in the 40s. And tomorrow, briefly hitting 70 degrees by 2 or 3 o'clock, and then temperatures falling after that rather rapidly. And then we're down in the hard freeze category for your Friday morning. Probably not getting above freezing for your day Friday. And Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, looking cold, hard freeze both mornings, finally warming up by Monday and Tuesday.
And now for today's question of the day. What do Santa's reindeers and Valentine's Day have in common? Like us on Facebook, Crossroads Today. Post your guess and we'll have the answer in just a few minutes. Twitter owner Elon Musk will be stepping down as CEO. It comes as the social media website has been going through some chaos since Musk took over the reins, with mass layoffs and policy changes and backlash following the abrupt decision to suspend the accounts of several journalists who cover him. Musk confirmed Tuesday he will step down, but only when he identifies a successor. It follows a Twitter poll he created this week in which 17 million users voted, with over 57% saying he should resign. Musk said he will continue to run the software and servers teams at Twitter, indicating he may continue to exercise significant influence on the company's decision-making. Leading us to your viewer poll, is Elon Musk making the right decision by stepping down as Twitter's CEO? Let's take a look. Okay. It's divided right down the middle. 50% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. We want to keep hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote. You can also scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. Japan's health ministry says the number of babies born in the country is set to drop another record low this year. For the first time since records began in 1899, births will fall below the 800,000 mark. Authorities are basing this trajectory on data from January to October of this year. That's as the period already saw a 4.8% drop compared to the same time last year. Public broadcaster NHK says the ministry said the pandemic has dissuaded people from marriage and pregnancy. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Evacuation orders are lifted in Colorado after a wildfire in Boulder County.
Give it up for Dolly Parton! Congrats, you were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Does it weird you out to be labeled an icon?
Well, I always think of myself more as an eyesore.
You're so nice. Do you ever have a bad day? I want to see Feisty Dolly so badly.
I can tell you where to put it if I don't like where you got it.
That's just being helpful.
Are you ready to change your career path? Come join our sales team at the Victoria Television Group. Do you have a passion for customer service and sales? This is the right place for you. We offer great benefits: medical, dental, life, 401k, paid vacation, and much more. Call me and let me show you why the Victoria Television Group sales team is the right choice for you.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. Oh wait, there is. Bring your friends.
Good morning, America.
GMA 7A. Now that's how you start your day.
Strut into the next Sherry. Wednesday, supermodel Paulina Porskova. Strut, connect, and strut again.
And now it's time for today's question of the day. What do Santa's reindeers and Valentine's Day have in common? Okay, Trey, we've got guesses for Cupid from a lot of our viewers. Sky is joining it. She's saying that it's the name of a reindeer and the Valentine fairy, or the god of love, also known as Eros.
There you go.
Let's see. And Cupid is also the offspring of Aphrodite.
There you go. Yes, exactly. Very good. And thanks to everyone that chimed into the question of the day this morning. Appreciate that. And of course, we're looking for, there's a Cupid and the reindeer, and they both have a Cupid. Of course, Cupid, the Valentine's Day mascot with the arrow. So there you go. Two Cupids. That's
Watch out for his arrow. He is mischievous.
That's right. Exactly. So stay tuned tomorrow. Another great Christmas-themed question of the day to get your brain started on your day
Evacuation orders are lifted in Colorado after a wildfire in Boulder County. More than 450 people were allowed to return to their homes Tuesday evening after a wildfire forced evacuations. Crews have reached at least 65% containment on the Sunshine Wildland fire. The fire had burned nearly 19 acres and started as a structure fire. Nearly 457 people were evacuated from a total of 176 homes. Officials warned that people in the area may continue to see smoke and flare-ups, and depending on weather and fire behavior, evacuation orders could be reissued Wednesday. An overnight emergency warming center will be opening at the C3 Victory Church at 1604 East Crestwood Drive Thursday night, December 22nd to Sunday night, December 25th. It will be open from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. in preparation for the cold winter weather. The center is also accepting donations of sleeping bags, coats, blankets, beanies, gloves, socks, hand warmers, and scarves. So you may want to do that spring cleaning tonight and go ahead and make that donation to help someone stay warm. And to volunteer, you can also contact 361-575-7842 or visit the Victoria Office of Emergency Management's Facebook page. This is a notice for those summoned for jury duty on Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. That's at the Victoria County Courthouse. You're asked to not appear. If you are summoned for that 8:30 a.m. session, that jury session is canceled and will not be rescheduled. Film producer Harvey Weinstein faces a shorter prison sentence after a jury failed to reach a verdict on whether the disgraced mogul planned his attack on a woman he was convicted of raping. This comes after a Los Angeles jury found Harvey Weinstein guilty on several sex crime charges Monday. The disgraced movie mogul was found guilty of 1 count of rape and 2 counts of sexual assault. On Tuesday, Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Lisa Lynch declared a mistrial after jurors said they were unable to reach a unanimous verdict in determining whether one of Weinstein's accusers was harmed and particularly vulnerable. If Weinstein committed the crimes with planning, professionalism, or sophistication. A California judge has denied a new trial for Scott Peterson in the 2002 death of his pregnant wife, Laci Peterson, and their unborn son. The ruling comes more than a year after the California Supreme Court ordered Superior Court Judge Anne Christine Masulo to consider whether juror misconduct denied him a fair trial. Peterson's team had argued that juror number 7, a woman named Rochelle Nice, was untruthful and failed to disclose details of her personal life that they said presented a conflict. The court concluded that juror number 7's responses were not motivated by pre-existing or improper bias against Peterson, but instead were the result of a combination of good faith misunderstandings of the questions and sloppiness in answering. But just a couple days away from the big day, you still have time to submit your holiday photos. We want to see Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, the Grinch. We want to see your Christmas photos and those Christmas lights. Go to our homepage, crossroadstoday.com, and click on the red banner and figure out which kind of photo you're going to submit, and go ahead and submit that photo. You'll have to enter your email address, and once it's submitted, our social media manager, Jen Flores, will post that on our social media accounts. And let's go ahead and turn to First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining for a look at your forecast.
And thank you so much. And take a look at the temperature starting off in the 30s this morning, and we'll be near 50 degrees by the afternoon time, 40s overnight tonight, and getting to about 70 degrees early morning, well, tomorrow afternoon. Then the cold front comes on through and drops temperatures rather rapidly, and winds increase to near 40 miles per hour. Cloudy skies throughout the day today, and for much of the overnight tonight, some clearing tomorrow behind the Arctic front. So today, about 60 degrees, cloudy skies here and there. Overnight lows will be in the 40s again, and then highs tomorrow just before the front arrives near 70 degrees. And we're looking at very cold temperatures to come. Hard freeze likely for your Friday morning, Saturday, and Sunday morning, Christmas morning. Stay warm out there, Carolina.
Thank you, Trey, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Come to crossroadstoday.com for more local news, weather, and sports, and join Karina and Howie and Gino today, 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.